Hey guys, starting with this video, I'm kicking off a new format on the channel, book reviews from the IT world. I'm planning to dive into C++ and C#, Unity, Unreal Engine, and other things tied to the industry, so I'll be reading books that cover all of that. My current goal is to finish 3 C++ books by the end of the year. They're beginner-friendly, because I figure some of you might also want to learn C++ alongside me from different sources, and books can be one of the best ways to do it. I tried to pick modern C++ books that are still written for beginners. I'm definitely not a beginner myself, but I can still look at them from that perspective and also judge how well they teach and how good the material is. Here's how the format will work. I read the book chapter by chapter. After each chapter, I jot down notes about what I'd like to say. Once I'm done with the whole book, I put together my overall thoughts on it, who it's good for, and whether it's worth reading at all. The first book in this C++ for Beginners series is Modern C++ for Absolute Beginners by Slobodan Dmitrovich, specifically the second edition. It's got 441 pages and a whopping 41 chapters. Let's get into it. In the first chapter, the author basically tells us very briefly that C++ is awesome and that the book will have a ton of exercises to practice what you learn. From the chapter titles, it looks like he actually moved the exercises into separate chapters because a lot of them are just called exercises. Personally, I like giving students practice right after they learn a new topic, but the author's approach is to give exercises after covering a few topics together. We'll see if I end up liking that or not. This first chapter is just a single page, and honestly, it doesn't even feel half of it with text. Chapter 2. What is C++? In this chapter, the author tells us that C++ is nothing like C, and honestly, that's just not true. I really don't get why he even brought up a comparison with C, especially when the chapter title itself suggests he should be explaining what C++ actually is, not how it differs from C, which the readers might not even know in the first place. The second part of the chapter points out that C++ is built around a set of standards, with the latest one right now being C++ 23. By the way, this chapter is also just a single page of text. Chapter 3. C++ compilers. In this chapter, the author tries to explain what header files and source files are, what extensions they use, what a compiler is, how it turns them into object files, and then how the linker combines everything into a program. But honestly, it's all rushed, messy, and pretty confusing for a beginner, because why are there even two types of files? What exactly is a compiler? The author's own explanation is literally, a compiler is a program that compiles files. Well, thanks for clearing that up. So I guess a linker is just a program that links files. Then he moves on to how to install compilers on Linux and Windows. I skipped the Linux part since I don't need it, but I did read through the Windows section. And yeah, no mention of Visual Studio, no screenshots, nothing, just vague instructions like you can install this program, click these buttons with no clue where those buttons even are, and suddenly you're supposed to be ready to code. This chapter is only 2 pages long, but at this point I'm already starting to realize that this book probably isn't going to give beginners the solid foundation they need. Chapter 4. Our first program. Here we finally write our very first program. The only problem is no one actually tells you where or how to run it. And if you make mistakes while typing the code, yeah, no one's going to explain what went wrong either. So you include the IOStream file, create a main function, and inside it write a line that prints text to the screen. Sounds simple, right? It's literally the most basic program you can write, but instead of keeping it simple, the author decides to lay all the cards on the table right away. This is a preprocessor directive. This is a header file. This is a function with no arguments. This is the return type. This is an object of the IOStream class. This is an overloaded left shift operator. This is a string literal, and so on. Why dump so much new information on a beginner all at once? they're not going to understand any of it. Why not just say, this is the command that lets us include files, or cout is what you use to print text on the screen. Later on, you can explain the deeper details when the time is right, but nope, the author went another way. He also explains what comments are, which isn't hard, so that part's fine. Then he brings up escape sequences, but instead of explaining why they exist or showing a full list, he just kind of mentions them and moves on. Chapter 5. Types. This chapter is a bit longer, almost 10 pages, so you'd think there might finally be more value here. The author goes over the basic data types, the Boolean type, bool, the integer types, short, int, long, the floating point types, float, double, long, double, and also shows how you can use the signed and unsigned modifiers with them, plus how to assign values. What felt odd to me was the order he chose for the examples. He starts with bool, then goes to char, and only after that gets to the more common number types. Wouldn't it make more sense to start with integers or floats, since those are easier for beginners to wrap their heads around? He also decided to talk about the void type, though he didn't actually show any examples of it. And when it came to explaining the difference between declaring, defining, and initializing a variable, he somehow managed to do it without actually showing what a declaration looks like. So once again, the information feels kind of rushed and incomplete. Chapter 6. Exercises. Here we get to the very first set of exercises from the author. And honestly, it's kind of funny. The entire chapter has just 3 exercises, that's it. On top of that, they feel pretty lifeless and not very engaging. Hopefully the next exercise chapters will be a bit longer and actually more interesting. Chapter 7. Operators. Here, the author covers the basic math operators: add, subtract, multiply, divide, modulo, assignment, plus, increment, and decrement. And of course, there are a few problems. First, he never explains how the modulo operator actually works. Second, he doesn't mention that you can chain assignments together. Third, he skips over why increment and decrement even come in 2 different forms. And finally, he doesn't explain why these operators exist in the first place. So my overall impression is that this book wasn't really written for beginners at all. It feels more like the author just threw together a personal cheat sheet of things he kind of learned himself. Chapter 8. Standard input. Here, the author shows how to take input from the keyboard using the scene object. The example was enough to get the point across, so I'll give him credit for that. But man, I'm still not used to these super short chapters. Most of them are just 1 or 2 pages long. Chapter 9. Exercises. Again, this time there are a few more exercises, around 6. But again, they're way too simple. To solve half of them, if not all, you can literally just copy-paste the code from the previous chapter. In other words, the author isn't really pushing the reader to come up with new code combinations or think through problems. It's more like repeat what you just saw. Chapter 10. Arrays. Now we're jumping into arrays, even though we haven't even learned what a loop is yet. I've honestly never seen that before. So far, this is hands down the worst and most embarrassing chapter. There's so much the author could have explained here, but he really don't. All we get is an array is a sequence of numbers. Here's how you create it, here's how you access its elements, and remember, arrays start at 0. That's it. But why do we even need arrays in programming? Why do they start counting from 0? What kind of values can you actually put inside those square brackets? What are some real practical examples of using arrays? You won't find answers to any of that here. Just awful. Chapter 11. Pointers. I keep getting more and more shocked by this book. Now we've reached pointers, one of the toughest topics in C++. I have a whole 1-hour lesson just on pointers, which should already tell you there's a lot to explain here. So did the author at least cover 5% of it? Nope. All we get is a pointer is a variable that stores the address of another variable. Here's how you get an address, and here's how you dereference a pointer, and that's it. No explanation of why we even need pointers. Nothing about pointers to arrays, nothing about pointers to functions. There's so much missing here that I can't even call this a surface level chapter. It's basically nothing. Chapter 12, References. At this point, I feel like soon the actual content of each chapter will end right where the chapter title does. 2 pages on the topic of references? Seriously? The author basically says references are aliases for variables. First of all, that's not really true, though sure, you could think of them that way. Second, why on earth would I even need an alias for a variable if the original name already works just fine? No answer. Instead, we just get, here are references. Here are two examples. Here's a reference to a constant, which is extra funny because the author hasn't even explained what a constant is. Genius. Chapter 13, Introduction to Strings. This was the breaking point for me. You know, I often see authors pretending that a string in C++ is just an object of the std string class. And fine, I can leave it that, even though technically it's not true. In C++, a string is really just a character array that ends with a null terminator. Std string is a class that wraps that array inside. I agree that std string is way more functional and easier to use than raw character arrays, so I'm not going to fault the author for blurring that distinction. But what really got me was this. This is the first time the if operator shows up in the book, and the author acts like we already know what it is. That's a massive red flag, because beginners are going to be totally lost, looking at code they've never seen explained. Then he starts showing off different methods of the std string class, so we can play around with strings. But here's the problem. Readers don't even know what a function is yet, let alone a method. And to make things worse, this chapter also throws in static class fields out of nowhere. I absolutely hate when someone just says, this code does this, without breaking down what the code actually consists of. That was the last straw for me. After this chapter, I just stopped reading the book. So, to wrap up my thoughts on this book, it's terrible. The title, For Absolute Beginners, is completely misleading. This isn't a friendly introduction to C++. It's just a bunch of scattered notes that only the author or already experienced programmers could make sense of, definitely not beginners. I strongly recommend you don't waste your time on this book. It feels lazy and half-baked. There wasn't a single chapter I could honestly praise. And sure, maybe someone out there will say, oh, but chapter 38 is actually really good. My answer to that, who cares at this point? There are plenty of far better books out there, both for beginners and advanced programmers. This one isn't worth it for anyone. Thanks for sticking with me through this review. I'm moving on to the next book, and I really hope it'll be worth my time. And for you guys, I wish you nothing but great reads. If you enjoyed the video, you can support the channel by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, subscribing, donating through the link in the description, or even becoming a channel member to get access to practical lessons. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.